Hey guys, it's Zach coming at you with what may be the last A Day with Pikachu Funko figure. So, from what I know, when they started this back in February of last year, they started with the March figure, and every month they released a figure for the next month. So, this was sold in January. I've actually had it for about maybe 2 weeks now. I just got caught up with a lot of work stuff. Um, and this is what seems to be the February figure, which is surprising weather ahead. So, something in the US that a lot of people might not know is Groundhog's Day, and that's when a groundhog comes up and sees its shadow or doesn't see its shadow and decides whether we'll have more winter or we'll have an early spring. So, I guess that's what this figure represents. I actually really like this figure already, and I haven't unboxed it yet. This might be my favorite one so far. Um, but real quick before we start the unboxing, some of you may know that I do the Pokemon Pass videos where I use my GPS spoofing to be able to use Pokemon Pass no matter where I'm at, and that lets people who might not have access to either those QR codes or those locations use Pokemon Pass to get the codes and get the items. We did this with a Mewtwo on Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. We did this with a Shiny Solgaleo and Shiny Lunala. And Pokemon Pass is a mobile app where you scan the QR code. A lot of people, and by a lot of people I mean like two people, went into the comments of some of those videos and talked about me doing the Walmart items for Sword and Shield, which I tried to find and I couldn't find it. Well, I was in Walmart the other night and I found it. I'll roll a video clip right here, but I found it attached to a giant box in between the home goods section where they sell like the fabric and the craft stuff on a box to sell Pokemon pillows. Silly me thinking that that QR code would be in the game store. So I wanted to say that I finally found the code. Unfortunately, we're not able to use it because that event expired and you're not able to use Pokemon Pass for it anymore. So the people who were looking for that, I want to say, sorry, I didn't find it in time. But if you want to learn more about Pokemon Pass and how I GPS spoof to use it for future events, there will be a link for that video down in the comments. So anyways, before we get into that, let's take a look at this Pikachu figure. So this is surprising weather ahead. As we can see, Pikachu has quite the face on this one. This is definitely a great one. We'll come back to the back. There's a more of a wider shot where you can see the Diglett involved and why Pikachu is so freaked out. And then we have our top and our bottom, and as we can see, it's a Pokemon Center item. You can sometimes get them at GameStop. You can most of the time only get it through the website. It's been a pain to get them, so I'm kind of glad that these Pikachu figures are coming to an end, and it is done by Funko. So these are technically Funko figures, but these are like special collectors ones. So let's move over to the back of the box. Get away for a day with Pikachu. Each month, join Pikachu as it explores a year's worth of adventures. In Winter's Shadow. Winter's almost over and spring is soon to arrive. Or is it? Pikachu's surprised to see Diglett and its shadow. Does that mean the chilly weather might stick around for a bit longer? Guess we'll see. Catch weather wonders of your own with the surprising weather ahead Pikachu figure by Funko and the Pokemon Center while you can. They won't last long. And we can see a better close-up shot of Pikachu in the package. But I'm telling you, that face, it's great. All right, so let's go back to the wider view and let's get this unboxed. So here we see our Pokemon merchandise card where they talk about how they have clothing and pins and figures and plush. I recently went to get a book bag through them, but I ended up getting one of the book bags that doesn't have a laptop sleeve, and so I ended up having to return it. Just want to let anyone know that hasn't returned something from the Pokemon Center before is that they don't do free returns. I ended up having to pay $10.50 just to ship it back to them to get a return. So if you're going to order something, make sure that you're making the right choice the first time around, because if you are going to return it, you're going to end up losing some money. And on the back, we see what's evolving next, coming soon to Funko and PokemonCenter.com. An afternoon with Eevee and friends. So I guess this will be their new figure line after the Pikachu. My question is, are they going to do a whole year worth of Eevee figures, or are they going to do it like where each figure is a different set of Pokemon? Clearly, this one is Eevee and friends as labeled. So they might do a year where it's like Eevee and another Pokemon. I could see them doing a whole year of just Eevee and like different Pokemon and Eevee and different evolutions. They could get a lot of sales and a lot of figures out of Eevee itself. And as we've seen with the Let's Go games, Eevee is kind of the secondary mascot to the games now. But we'll talk about that more at the end, and I'll ask you some questions, see what you think. So let's get this opened up. So I'm always trying not to have this plastic make such a horrible noise when I open it up. So let's set that to the side. And here we go. So this figure is great. I don't care whether you like Pikachu or not. The expression alone sells it. The Diglett is really great in this figure as well. It's a very small base. And it's just a great one overall. What's really confusing is if you look over to the January figure, the New Year figure, there's no snow. There's snow in the winter one. And then when we go back to the February, there's snow again. So I don't know why that design choice went that way. I know green has been the base for a lot of the first half of the year, but I don't know why they went from snow to grass to snow again. But let's get a little in closer to this figure. We can see more of the Diglett, and I really like the quality you see on the Diglett. And it's just the fact that it's a very expressionless Pokemon just makes Pikachu's even better. As we can see, there's not a lot of painting and detail going on this figure, but you can see the little bump goes right under Pikachu's foot, so it kind of like Pikachu kind of got freaked out because it felt it, and the Diglett pops on up. And I think like the lack of like detail on this figure allowed them to do so much more with the Diglett. Let's try to get a focus on that. There we go. Gets more of the Diglett figure, and as you can see, you might think this might be streaks of like snow, but to me what I see is its shadow. And as the box says, Diglett sees its shadow, and you can see Pikachu's shadow as well. So that is just like a nice little touch where you do see some detail there, but that's a really easy one, not as detailed as the confetti you might see on the January figure and the numbers on the clock, or it might not be as much detail as you see with the stripes on the blanket. But nonetheless, I do actually really like this figure. I think that this one may beat the October Pikachu figure. I've been playing Pokemon for a very long time, so I do like the Gen 1 ones more than I do the later ones. So I think Diglett beats out Pumpkaboo for me. Let's bring this figure up. So Pumpkaboo does have some expression to its face, unlike Diglett. But as you can see, like the expression on Pikachu's face in this figure just like tops everything. Let's go back and see the figure. And here is the Day with Pikachu figure with all the other ones. As you can see, I have all but one. If you've watched these videos before, you've heard me complain about it loads and loads of times that the May figure sold out really quick, and if you want to buy it, it costs over $100. And these figures start at $15. So to have $100, to pay $100 for something that doesn't cost a tenth of that regularly, it goes for about 130 to 150. I did see it at the last toy convention I went to with my one buddy, but as I said before, the guy was selling it for $130, so it was either buy the figure for $130 or keep $130 in my pocket. And for a $15 figure, I decided to keep the $130. But anyways, let's go over to the spin around where we do the 360. I'll probably do one or two figures that have other Pokemon involved and the last set of winter figures. So let's see. Okay, here we have the February figure and the October figure, both featuring different Pokemon. We have Pumpkaboo and Diglett. And this little revolver table is a little squeakier than usual. Here you have the three winter figures. You have the December figure, the January figure, and the February figure. I do think, let me readjust this. I do think the Pokemon Company did get more stride, and Funko themselves did get more stride within the back half of the figures. The back half of the figures were a lot better than the first half of the figures. And here is the figure by itself. Once again, the face that Pikachu is making in this with the nonchalant face of Diglett just makes this one an instant classic. Okay, and there you go. This is our last and our newest Day with Pikachu figure. Surprising weather ahead. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Let me know which one is your favorite. Once again, has it changed? Is it the same? And my biggest question I want to ask is, what do you think about the Eevee and Friends figure set coming up? Do you think that this is a good idea if they did this year again with Eevee instead of Pikachu? Or would you wanted to see it more like the other Funko figures where they do the starters, they did Eevee, they did Pikachu, and they're getting a more variety of Pokemon? Or rather, would you see more specialty figures like this? Or would you want to see like the cheaper, easier to get regular Funko figures like they do with Charmander, Bulbasaur, Squirtle, Pikachu, Eevee, and then hopefully they'll probably end up doing more starters. Where do you think they're going to go with those figures? I think that they're going to keep doing starters, first evolutions, because they just make the easiest pops, versus if you had something like a Charizard or a Venusaur, I feel like there'd be a lot of detail and it would be hard to make that into a regular size Funko figure. But let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Let me know if you want to see me pick up the Eevee figure. But thanks for watching. This is Zach, and I'll see you guys in the next one.